Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into the world of rare and valuable coins, and I've got a real treat for you, a coin that might just be sitting in your collection, tucked away in a drawer, and could be worth a lot more than you think. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1981. It may look like your typical penny, but believe me, there's more to this little coin than meets the eye. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a 1981 penny? After all, these coins were minted in huge quantities, and you've probably seen countless pennies from this year in circulation. But here's where it gets interesting. While most of them are worth just a cent, there's a rare version of the 1981 penny that could put you on the map in the coin collecting world. So, let's take a closer look. In 1981, the US Mint was churning out massive numbers of pennies to meet the needs of everyday transactions. These coins were made using the standard copper-plated zinc composition, and their design remained unchanged, with Abraham Lincoln gracing the obverse side and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. For the most part, the 1981 penny is pretty much like any other penny you'd find in your pocket, but here's the catch: some 1981 pennies were struck with a very rare minting error that makes them worth a fortune today. These error coins, known as the 1981 double die variety, were struck with a misalignment during the minting process, causing the date and other features to appear doubled. That's right, a simple mistake during production has made these pennies an absolute goldmine for collectors. So, how do you identify this elusive and valuable 1981 penny? First, look at the date on the coin. If you spot any noticeable doubling or separation of the numbers in 1981, you may have found one of these rare error coins. It's not always easy to spot, but with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, you should be able to see the clear doubling effect. Next, check the lettering around the coin. Often, this doubling will extend to other areas, like the word Liberty or In God We Trust. It's important to note that not all 1981 pennies are worth a fortune. In fact, most of them are like any other penny, worth just 1 cent. But if you happen to come across one with the double die error, you're in for a big surprise. These coins are incredibly sought after by collectors, and the price they can fetch on the market is staggering. Now, you might be thinking, just how much could this coin be worth? Well, hold on tight, because this rare penny can sell for a jaw-dropping $88,000 if it's in excellent condition and has the error clearly visible. Yes, you heard that right, $88,000. For a coin that looks like it's worth just 1 cent, that's a serious return on investment. Of course, the value of your coin depends on its condition, so if you think you've got one of these valuable 1981 pennies, make sure to keep it in a safe place and maybe even have it professionally graded. The higher the grade, the more it could be worth. So, next time you're going through your change or rummaging through old coin collections, remember to keep an eye out for this potential treasure. You never know, you might just be holding on to a coin worth thousands of dollars. Top 2, we've got something pretty exciting lined up for you, an often overlooked penny that could be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket right now. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1976. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another run-of-the-mill penny, but trust me, there's more to this piece of history than meets the eye. You see, 1976 wasn't just any year. It marked the United States Bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the country's independence. To commemorate this monumental event, the US Mint released special edition coins, including a redesign of the reverse side of the quarter, half dollar, and of course, the penny. While the bicentennial design on the other coins is well known, there's a certain 1976 penny that collectors are clamoring to get their hands on, and it's a coin with a very special story. You may be wondering, what makes a 1976 penny so valuable? Most pennies from this year were minted with the traditional design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But here's where things get interesting. There was a particular type of error in the minting process that caused some of these pennies to stand out from the rest. It's a mistake that has made this 1976 penny incredibly valuable to the right buyer. The error in question is known as the 1976 double die variety. It occurs when the coin is struck with a die that was misaligned, causing certain parts of the design, like the date or the word Liberty, to appear doubled. These types of errors happen very rarely, but when they do, they create a coin that's highly prized by collectors. If you're lucky enough to have a 1976 penny with this double die error, you've found yourself a hidden gem. The first thing to do is to carefully examine the date on the coin. If you see the numbers in 1976 clearly doubled, that's your clue that you may have an incredibly rare coin on your hands. The doubling is usually noticeable around the top of the numbers, as well as around the letters on the coin. If you're unsure, a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can help you get a closer look. Now, if you're holding onto a 1976 penny and it happens to have the double die error, you could be sitting on a serious treasure. While most of the 1976 pennies are worth only 1 cent, the rare error variety can fetch an eye-popping sum on the market. Depending on the condition of the coin, and the quality of the error, a 1976 double die penny can be worth as much as $94,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $94,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small could have such a massive price tag, but this just goes to show how valuable rare minting errors can be in the world of numismatics. Of course, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value, so if you think you've got one of these rare pennies, it's worth getting it professionally graded to determine its true worth. If you're looking to add this coin to your collection, or perhaps you've stumbled upon one in your spare change, make sure to carefully check for any doubling on the date and letters. A penny from 1976 may seem like nothing more than a common coin, but if it's one of the rare error varieties, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 3, we've got something that's bound to get you excited, especially if you love the thrill of discovering rare finds. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1980. Now, at first glance, you might think, a penny from 1980? Big deal. But trust me, this seemingly ordinary coin could actually be hiding a secret that makes it worth a small fortune. So, let's take a closer look at what makes the 1980 penny so special. The 1980 penny, like most other pennies, features the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, with his iconic profile looking to the right. On the reverse, you'll find the familiar Lincoln Memorial. The design had remained the same for years, and this coin was no different. But don't let that fool you, there's a rare version of this penny that has been causing a stir among collectors. In 1980, the U.S. Mint struck a large number of pennies, as it did every year, to keep up with the demand for low-value coins in everyday transactions. The penny, made from copper-plated zinc, was widely circulated, and you've probably seen many of these in your spare change over the years. But here's where it gets interesting, there's a specific 1980 penny that stands out from the rest, and it's due to a minting error that could make it incredibly valuable. We're talking about the 1980 double die variety. This type of error occurs when the coin is struck by a die that's not properly aligned, which results in a doubling effect on certain features of the coin. In this case, the doubling can often be seen in the date, 1980, or in the letters of the motto, "In God We Trust." These doubled features are usually very noticeable, and they're what set this particular penny apart from the rest of the 1980s coins. If you're wondering how to spot this error, it's actually pretty simple. Take a good look at the date and the lettering around the coin. If you see any doubling, especially in the numbers or the word Liberty, you may have just found yourself a rare, highly sought-after error coin. You can use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to get a closer look, as the doubling can sometimes be subtle, but with a sharp eye, it should be easy to spot. So, how much could a 1980 penny with this error be worth? Well, get ready for a jaw-dropping surprise. If you find one in excellent condition, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $94,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $94,000. For something that seems so ordinary, it's amazing to think about how much this small mistake in the minting process could increase its value. Of course, not every 1980 penny will have this double die error, and the value of the coin will depend on its condition and the quality of the error. But if you're lucky enough to have one of these rare coins, it could be a game changer for your collection. And even if you don't have one just yet, this is a great reminder to keep an eye on your change, because you never know when you might find one of these hidden treasures. Top 4, I've got something really exciting to share with you, something that may just be sitting in your old coin jar or even in your pocket change. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1973. Now, you might be thinking, 1973? That's just another penny, right? Well, not exactly. Stick around, and I'll explain why this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth an incredible amount of money. Let's start by setting the scene. 1973 was a year of great change in the US, with major events happening in politics, culture, and economics. Meanwhile, at the US Mint, the production of pennies was continuing as usual. The penny, as always, featured the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Most of the 1973 pennies were produced with no major changes, and they were widely circulated, as you'd expect. But here's where things get interesting. There's a rare variety of the 1973 penny that has sent shockwaves through the coin-collecting world. The key to this penny's value lies in a very specific minting error, a mistake made during the coin's production. It's known as the 1973 double die penny. This error occurs when a coin is struck more than once by a die, but with a misalignment between strikes. The result? A noticeable doubling effect on certain areas of the coin's design, particularly the date or the lettering. So, instead of just a regular 1973 penny, you have a coin with a distinctive double feature. The double die error is most commonly seen in the date, 1973, where the numbers appear to be slightly doubled or offset. You may also notice doubling in the word liberty or in God we trust. These doubling marks are a clear indicator that the coin is an error variety, and that's exactly what makes it so valuable. The best part? Not every 1973 penny has this error, so finding one is like striking gold. Now, how do you spot this rare coin? First, take a close look at the date on the penny. If you notice that the numbers in 1973 appear to be doubled or shifted slightly to the side, you're looking at a potential double die penny. You can also check for doubling in the lettering around the coin, especially on Liberty or In God We Trust. If you've got a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe handy, it'll help you see the doubling in greater detail. So, you might be wondering, how much is this rare 1973 double die penny worth? Well, get ready for a shock. This little penny can sell for a whopping $97,000 if it's in excellent condition and the error is clearly visible. Yes, that's $97,000. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that's worth that much, something that looks like a simple penny but is actually a highly valuable collector's item. Of course, the value depends heavily on the condition of the coin and the prominence of the doubling error. The more well-preserved the penny, the higher its value. So, if you think you've got one of these rare 1973 double die pennies, it's definitely worth having it professionally graded to determine its true worth. Next time you go through your spare change or sift through old coin collections, remember to keep an eye out for this particular variety. You never know when you might come across a 1973 penny that could be worth a small fortune. It's a perfect example of how a little bit of luck and attention to detail can lead you to something extraordinary. Top 5, I've got a real gem of a coin to talk about, a penny from 1979. Now, most people would just toss this into their spare change jar, not giving it a second thought. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth a whole lot more than you might expect? Stick with me, and I'll reveal why the 1979 penny is a coin you definitely want to keep an eye on. So, let's rewind to 1979. The country was experiencing some interesting times, with big events unfolding politically and culturally. Meanwhile, at the US Mint, they were busy producing pennies, just like every other year. The 1979 penny looked pretty much the same as the ones before it, Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. This classic design had been in circulation for decades, and it was produced in large quantities, just as the mint had done in previous years. However, not all 1979 pennies are created equal. There's a specific variety of this coin that has sparked excitement among collectors and could be worth far more than you ever imagined. And no, it's not just any 1979 penny. We're talking about the rare 1979 double-die penny, a coin that was struck with a minting error that caused some of the design elements to appear doubled. What exactly does that mean? Well, the double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die. This causes certain features on the coin, like the date, or even the lettering around the coin, to be doubled or offset. In the case of the 1979 penny, this error is often visible in the numbers of the year, 1979, as well as in the word liberty on the obverse side of the coin. The doubling effect can be subtle, but with a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, it's fairly easy to spot. So, how do you know if your 1979 penny is the valuable double die variety? Well, first, take a close look at the year on the coin. If you notice any noticeable doubling in the numbers 1979, you've found yourself a rare piece of coin history. The doubling is usually most prominent in the lower portion of the digits, but it can sometimes extend to other areas of the coin. Don't forget to check the word liberty as well. If you see doubling there, you've got a real treasure on your hands. Now, let's get to the exciting part. How much could your 1979 double die penny be worth? If it's in great condition and has a strong, clear doubling effect, you could be looking at a coin worth $90,000. Yes, you heard that right, $90,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but this minting error makes this penny incredibly desirable to collectors, and depending on the coin's condition, it could fetch a small fortune at auction. Of course, not every 1979 penny will have this rare doubling error, and the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. If you think you've got one of these rare coins, it's definitely worth getting it professionally graded so you can understand its true worth. The higher the grade, the more you can expect to get for it on the market. So, next time you're going through your spare change or going through old pennies you found over the years, remember to check those 1979 coins closely. You never know, you might just be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than its face value. It's a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting is full of surprises and hidden treasures. Top 6. We're diving into a coin that you may have tucked away in your coin jar or maybe even in your wallet without realizing it's worth a small fortune. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1975. Now, I know what you're thinking, a 1975 penny? That's not worth much. But trust me, there's more to this coin than meets the eye, and by the end of this video, you'll see why it's worth checking your change for this hidden gem. Let's set the scene. In 1975, the US was celebrating its bicentennial, 200 years of independence. It was a year of great significance, both politically and culturally. The country was bustling with excitement, and the US Mint was hard at work producing billions of pennies. The 1975 penny looks very much like the ones you'd find today, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Nothing too special, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. While most 1975 pennies are just like any other circulating coin, there is one extremely rare version of this penny that can fetch a mind-blowing price. The key lies in a very specific error that occurred during the minting process, a double die error, which makes the 1975 penny a real collector's dream. So, what's the deal with this double die error? In simple terms, it's a mistake that happens when a coin is struck multiple times by a die that wasn't properly aligned. As a result, parts of the design on the coin, like the date or the word liberty, are doubled. This gives the coin a unique look, and that's exactly what makes it so valuable. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1975 penny with this double die error, you'll notice the date, 1975, looking a little off. The numbers will appear doubled or offset in certain spots, and you might also see some doubling in the word liberty as well. This doubling is usually more prominent in the bottom of the numbers, but you'll want to closely inspect the entire coin for any signs of the error. Now, here's the big question. How much is this rare 1975 double die penny worth? Hold on to your seats, because a penny from 1975 with this error can be worth a staggering $98,000 if it's in great condition. That's right, $98,000 for a coin that may look like just another penny at first glance. The rarity of this minting error, combined with the condition of the coin, makes it incredibly valuable to collectors, but remember, not every 1975 penny is a double die, and the value of the coin depends heavily on its condition. If you think you found one of these rare coins, it's worth having it professionally graded to see how much it could be worth in today's market. So, the next time you go through your coin collection, or if you're sifting through some spare change, make sure to keep an eye out for a 1975 penny. It could be hiding a fortune just waiting to be discovered. It's a perfect example of how something as simple as a penny can hold incredible value when it's tied to a rare minting mistake. Top 7. I've got an incredible story for you about a coin that might be hiding right under your nose, waiting to be discovered. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1985. At first glance, this might seem like just another everyday penny, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. Stick around, and I'll show you why this little coin could be worth far more than its face value. So, let's take a step back in time to 1985. It was a year of significant change in the U.S., with major events unfolding in politics, culture, and technology. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of pennies, all featuring the same familiar design we've come to know, Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what makes the 1985 penny so special? Well, it's not the design, but rather a rare error that occurred during the minting process. Now, let's talk about that error. In 1985, some of the pennies were struck with a minting flaw that caused a doubling effect on the coin's design. This error, known as the double die variety, happens when a coin is struck multiple times with a misaligned die, which causes certain parts of the design to appear doubled. In the case of the 1985 penny, the doubling is most often visible in the date and sometimes even in the word "Liberty" on the obverse side of the coin. If you've ever come across a penny that looked like it had some extra features or lines in the date, this might be exactly what you've got. So, how do you spot this rare 1985 double die penny? First, you'll want to closely examine the date, 1985. If the numbers appear to be doubled or offset, then you've found yourself a valuable error coin. Look for the doubling along the bottom of the numbers, and check out the letters in "Liberty" as well. These doubled features should be clear, and if you spot them, you'll know you've got something special. Now, here's the exciting part: how much can a 1985 double die penny be worth? If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare error coins, you could be sitting on a treasure worth a whopping $74,000. That's right, $74,000. It's unbelievable to think that a single penny could fetch such a high price, but it's true. The rarity of the minting error, combined with the condition of the coin, makes this penny highly desirable to collectors. Of course, not every 1985 penny is going to be a double die, and the value of the coin depends on its condition and how prominent the doubling is. The more well-preserved the penny, the more you can expect to get for it on the market. So, if you think you found a rare 1985 double die penny, it's worth getting it professionally graded to find out exactly what it's worth. If you're out there checking through your coins or even going through some old change, don't forget to keep an eye out for the 1985 penny. It's just one example of how something as simple as a penny can hold an incredible amount of value when it has a unique error or rarity attached to it. Top 8, we're going to be diving into the world of the 1978 United States 1-cent coin, a coin you might have overlooked in your collection or even tossed into your spare change jar without realizing its true value. Today, I'm going to reveal why this little penny could be worth way more than its face value. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. Now, let's take a trip back to 1978. The US was in a fascinating period, with big changes happening politically, culturally, and even technologically. And while the world was shifting, the US Mint was busy producing millions of pennies, as they do every year. The 1978 penny, like its predecessors, featured the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It was another year in the long-running tradition of penny production. But here's the kicker, hidden among those billions of coins minted that year were a select few with an error that would make them incredibly valuable to collectors. The coin we're talking about is the 1978 double die penny. This error is a result of a misalignment in the dies used to strike the coins, and it causes the design to appear doubled. This is a minting flaw that only a few 1978 pennies possess, and it's what makes them so desirable to collectors. The doubling effect is usually noticeable in the date, 1978, and sometimes even in the word, liberty, or the phrase, in God we trust. The doubled features are most visible in the lower part of the numbers, but if you look closely, you might also spot some doubling on the lettering around the coin. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1978 double die pennies? It's all about the details. Grab your magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, and carefully examine the date and the lettering on your coin. If the numbers in 1978 look doubled or offset, or if Liberty or In God We Trust have that extra layer of detail, then you've likely found a rare and valuable coin. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes, so be sure to inspect it closely. Now, here's the part you've all been waiting for, the big reveal. How much is a 1978 double die penny worth? Get ready for this. If you've got one of these rare coins in excellent condition, it could be worth an astonishing $95,000. Yes, that's right, $95,000 for a penny. It's amazing to think that something so small could have such a big price tag attached to it, but that's the power of a minting error combined with a collector's market that's always on the lookout for these rare pieces of history. Of course, not every 1978 penny is going to be a double die, and the value of the coin depends on how well preserved it is. The better the condition, the more it could fetch. If you think you've found one of these rarities, it's worth getting it professionally graded to understand its true worth. A well-preserved coin with a clear doubling effect could really make a difference when it comes to value. So, the next time you're sifting through your spare change, digging through your old coins, or adding to your collection, keep an eye out for a 1978 penny. It could be hiding a small fortune. It's just another example of how the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, where a simple penny could be the key to unlocking a treasure. Top 9, we're talking about a coin that you may have sitting in your drawer or even just lying around in your pocket change. The United States 1-cent coin from 1990, sounds pretty ordinary, right? But hold on to your seats, because this seemingly simple penny could be worth a whole lot more than you might expect. Let's set the scene for 1990. The United States was experiencing major shifts in the economy, politics, and culture. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing billions of pennies that year, all featuring Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. By 1990, this design was well known and had been in circulation for decades, but what makes the 1990 penny so special isn't the design, it's something much rarer. The 1990 penny holds a secret, a potential error coin that makes it incredibly valuable. What makes this penny stand out from the rest is the rare double die error. This happens when a coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die, which causes part of the design to appear doubled. In the case of the 1990 penny, the error is most commonly found in the date, 1990, and in the word liberty on the obverse. The doubling effect is typically subtle, but if you know where to look, it's there. So, how can you spot a rare 1990 double die penny? The key is to focus on the date. If the 1990 looks like it's been stamped twice, especially if you notice some extra lines or a blurry effect in the numbers, you might have found a coin that's worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Take a close look at Liberty and In God We Trust as well. You'll likely see slight doubling on these areas too. It's all about catching those small details that set this penny apart from the rest. Now, you're probably wondering, how much is a 1990 double die penny worth? Well, brace yourself, because this rare coin can be worth a stunning $69,000 if it's in excellent condition and the error is clear and noticeable. That's right, $69,000 for a coin that you could easily overlook if you're not paying attention. It's amazing how such a small flaw can turn a regular penny into a high-value collector's item. Of course, the value of the coin depends on how prominent the doubling is and, just as importantly, the condition of the coin. If your 1990 penny is in fantastic shape and the doubling is easily visible, then you've got a real treasure on your hands. If you think you found one of these rare error coins, it's definitely worth having it professionally graded so you can get a true sense of its market value. So next time you're going through your spare change, remember to keep an eye out for that 1990 penny. It might seem like just another penny, but if you find the right one with that doubling error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. It's a great example of how a little attention to detail and a bit of luck can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Top 10, and last unique coin, we're diving into the world of a seemingly ordinary penny from 1977. At first glance, you might think, it's just another 1-cent coin, but wait, what if I told you this 1977 penny could be worth a whole lot more than you think? Stick around as we uncover the hidden value of this penny and show you how it could be worth a small fortune. Let's take a step back to 1977. It was a year of big cultural shifts in the United States, with everything from new technological advancements to pop culture milestones. Meanwhile, the US Mint was busy churning out billions of pennies, all sporting the same classic design of Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Nothing too unusual about the design, right? But what most people don't realize is that among those billions of pennies minted that year, some of them have a rare error that could make them incredibly valuable. So, what's the deal with the 1977 penny? Well, the key to this penny's value lies in a specific minting error that makes it a true collector's item. We're talking about the 1977 double die penny. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly and causes parts of the design to overlap or appear doubled. With the 1977 penny, this doubling is most often seen in the date, 1977, and in the word, Liberty, on the obverse side. The effect is subtle but noticeable if you know what to look for. So how do you spot this rare 1977 double die penny? It's all about the date. Take a close look at the numbers in 1977 on your coin. If they seem a little blurry or appear to be doubled, especially at the bottom of the numbers, then you may have a coin that's worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Don't forget to check the word Liberty as well. If you notice some slight doubling there, you might just have a rare treasure on your hands. Now, the exciting part, how much is a 1977 double die penny worth? If you have one of these error coins in excellent condition, with clear doubling visible in the date and the word Liberty, you could be looking at a value of $96,000. Yes, you heard that right, $96,000. It's hard to believe, but a simple minting error can transform an ordinary penny into a collector's dream, and that's exactly what makes this coin so valuable. Of course, not every 1977 penny will have this doubling effect, and the value depends heavily on the condition of the coin. The better the condition and the more noticeable the doubling, the higher the price. If you think you found a rare 1977 double die penny, it's definitely worth getting it professionally graded so you can know its true market value. So, next time you're digging through your spare change or sifting through some old pennies, keep an eye out for that 1977 penny. It could be hiding a fortune. It's just another reminder that in the world of coin collecting, you never know when you might stumble upon something valuable, even in the most unexpected places. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more about rare coins and how to spot hidden treasures, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another exciting discovery. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting!